Hello FantasyDaddy.com viewers, once again it's Bo Fertig alongside partner James Boyer, and today we'll be talking about third baseman. And when you talk about third baseman, there's really only one guy you could talk about. So let's start off and talk about a little about Miguel Cabrera, last year's Triple Crown winner.
Miguel Cabrera is my homeboy. This guy can absolutely rake. Pre-2010, when he started his career with the Marlins, he has 3 consecutive seasons where he had 100 runs and 100 ribbies. That's the second year is when he started as a pro. Post-2010, he is now going on his 4th consecutive season with 100 runs and 100 ribbies. He's on pace for that too going into this season with 73 runs and only 5 ribbies away from 100 this season. And not to mention, this is Miguel Cabrera's 10th consecutive season with 100 plus RBIs. The career RBI leader is Hank Aaron. His longest streak with 100 plus RBIs was only 5. Babe Ruth, 8. There's only 3 guys in Major League Baseball ever to hit 100 plus ribbies consecutively more than Cabrera, and that's Jimmy Fox, Lou Gehrig, and Alex Rodriguez.
Some big names.
Those are huge names.
Big names.
Huge names. And they did it 13 seasons. Each of them did it in 13 seasons straight. So that's huge.
When you talk about 2012 Triple Crown winner, all that good stuff, let's look at this year's first half stats. This year, 73 runs, 132 hits, 30 home runs, 95 RBIs, hitting 365. The average home runs, hits, runs, everything eclipses last year's number. Last year he was only hitting 324, 18 home runs, 53 runs, 71 RBIs. So this year, 20 plus runs, 20 plus RBIs, 40 points better in batting average, and actually make that a dozen more home runs. Last year was a Triple Crown winner. This year, I mean, when you compare those numbers, he's really having a better year this year than he was last year.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the last time someone has done the Triple Crown, that's a really hard thing to do. Probably the hardest thing to do in sports was Yastrzemski back in the 70s. You also got to take a look at Miguel Cabrera's his longevity in his career. From his whole entire career from 2003 to 2012, he has only missed a total of 33 games.
Wow, yeah.
That averages around 158 games per season. And if you're a baseball fan, you know there's 162 in a season. He's really missing only 4 games a season, and that right there shows that he's an Iron Man in itself.
And he is hitting in a potent lineup. Hunter and Jackson at the top, batting behind him, Prince Fielder, Victor Martinez. So there's bats all around him. But let's get to some third base surprises. There's been some new faces in the top 5, top 10 of third baseman ranks. Who's been a surprise for you here in the first half?
It's got to be a 4th ranked third baseman right now, Josh Donaldson from the Oakland A's. This guy is playing out of sight, out of mind, and is probably the Oakland A's best player right now. He's batting .310, 16 homers, and 61 ribbies. His OBP right now is a staggering .379. He's the top 10 in the AL in RBIs. He's in the top 15 in the AL in hits, and the top 15 in homers. I do have a little concern about him. In the minors, he was a .275 career minor league hitter, and he really never hit over 20 home runs in a minor league season. So I do kind of project him not having the best second half, but he's still going to be in the top 10.
Josh Donaldson, other than Cabrera and Beltre, Donaldson hitting over 300 with 15 plus home runs, now hitting the 3 spot. Another player that we talked about, a little surprise, was Manny Machado, leading the majors with 39 doubles. He's tied for most plate appearances with 435 in the first half. Do you see him tiring in the second?
Actually I don't. You got guys like this. This guy's young. He's 21, 22 years old. He's at the prime of his career, and he's going to continue to just get better. I don't see him breaking the doubles record, but he's gonna get fairly close, and hitting in Camden Yards and with that lineup with Chris Davis and Nate McLeod, and there's numerous guys for that lineup that's kind of gonna help him out to kind of boost those numbers a little bit.
Right, batting in front of Adam Jones and Chris Davis definitely helps. The 39 doubles is an individual stat, and when you combine that with hitting in a potent lineup, the numbers are just going to come along with it. Another guy that has really come onto the scene, Kyle Seager from Seattle. You know, you talk about hot hitters in the past 30 days, second in the majors with 22 runs, hitting .330, cracking 7 home runs out. This guy has come onto the scene along with a Pedro Alvarez, who's hitting for bombs, hit 10 home runs last month. These guys are starting to come on the scene and give a new face for third baseman.
Definitely. It was really cool to see Pedro Alvarez in the home run derby as well. I mean, the guy's going to hit 190, 200. Who cares? The guy can hit home runs, which is one of the most exciting things in baseball. Also, too, Kyle Seager, he plays in a very tough ballpark to hit. And he has shown that that's not holding him back at all. He's got RBIs, runs, and in a way, he's a roto beast. He can hit for power, and he can also steal some bases.
Yeah, he's projected to hit 25 home runs, around 90 runs, 70 RBIs. It's quality work for a third baseman of that stature. And then if you go over to someone like, we were talking about Alvarez. Last year he hit 244, 30 home runs. This year, second among third basemen with 24 home runs. Like we said, the average isn't there. The guy strikes out 1 out of every 3 at-bats. So definitely the average isn't there, but there's upside to that, and it's one of the reasons why this Pittsburgh lineup has been so deadly recently. But these are new faces, but we still have old faces. Captain America, David Wright, Adrian Beltre. These guys have done it year in and year out with the Ryan Zimmermans, the Evan Longorias. These guys are still top 10. Who do you see producing in the second half out of those guys?
You got to take a look at Texas's Adrian Beltre. The guy's batting .316 right now with 21 homers, 55 ribbies. In his last 12 games going to the All-Star break, he has 7 home runs and 13 RBIs. If he can get that into the second half, going into the second half, Beltre could have a career year this year.
You know what? All those third basemen hit in a great lineup. Zimmerman hits in a good lineup in the 4 spot. Longo hits in a great AL lineup. The only one that doesn't really hit in a good lineup is David Wright. He hits in the Mets lineup, an NL lineup that's very weak. They don't provide a lot of pop. They don't provide a lot of speed. And it's because of that where I see Adrian Beltre, Evan Longoria, Ryan Zimmerman to have good years, but David Wright to kind of taper off in the second half.